222, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check 1, 2. Perfect, no worries.
Okay, I practiced that run earlier. Good morning and welcome to today's press conference for the 32nd Annual Hot Docs Canadian International Documentary Festival. I'm Janice Daw, the interim and outgoing Executive Director of Hot Docs. It's wonderful to be here today in this beautiful cinema, the Hot Docs Ted Rogers Cinema, situated on the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the traditional lands of the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat, and the Anishinaabe. We respect and give thanks to the original stewards of the land and acknowledge that Toronto is home to many diverse nations, Métis, and Inuit people. We're grateful to have the opportunity to work and live and learn on this land. Well, we're very delighted to be back here today and welcome you here today. I think there were some questions whether we'd be here today, and we are, so welcome. Yeah, I'm really happy. Last summer, when we temporarily closed the cinema due to financial challenges, a lot was written about hot docs. One quote from Variety stood out. It read, "Creating a sustainable future for hot docs seems, at this point, a task for superheroes, not mere mortals." When I reflect on that quote and the experience we've gone through this past year, I've come to the conclusion that the very act of creating space for arts and culture in our society is indeed a task for superheroes. Building and sustaining events like the Hot Docs Canadian International Documentary Festival demands something from each of us, whether it's dollars, labor, belief, or passion. Everyone who contributed $25 or $10,000, every volunteer who had a smile on their face when they welcomed audiences into this space, every filmmaker who believed that our festival was the best festival for their film, and every member of our small but mighty team who cared passionately for our success, they are a superhero to me. Without you, there'd be no hot dogs, so thank you. I'd like to extend my gratitude and acknowledge the leadership and dedication of our Managing Director, Heidi Tao Yang, and our esteemed Board of Directors, Lydia Lukovic, Nicholas Deponcier, and Kevin Wong for their unwavering and tremendous job getting us to this day. Hot Docs has a new superhero on the team. Last week, we announced that Diana Sanchez is our new executive director. 1 second, Diana. Oh, you can start coming up. You can start. Diana's proven commitment to film, filmmakers, and audiences are central to the job she takes on in leading Hot Docs forward. Diana's experience in film festivals is impressive. She served as director of film for TIFF, as well as international programmer. She held leadership roles at the Miami Film Festival, Rotterdam Film Festival, and the Los Angeles Latino International Film Festival. Her interest in Central American and Caribbean films led to her co-founding the International Film Festival of Panama. A lifelong advocate for film education and accessibility, Diana holds an MA in Cinema Studies from the University of Toronto and has lectured extensively. Most recently, she led the first season of the University of Toronto's pop-up Cinematheque to showcase films from the Media Commons archives to students and diverse audiences on campus. Please give a warm welcome to Diana Sanchez.
So thank you, Janice, your wonderful intro, your words here this morning. And I'd like to take a moment now to thank Janice for her heroic efforts here at Hot Docs. I know we wouldn't be here today without you, so thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. I have been a long-time Hot Docs fan. I've participated on the festival jury, which I absolutely loved, the excitement of the festival. But I've also come here as a member. I come here to the cinema. With my family, enjoy all sorts of films here. So it's such a pleasure and an honor to be with you today as the incoming executive director of this organization that I love so much. I think Toronto and the doc community, we need Hot Docs. And I am committed and very excited to work with this incredibly talented team that's welcomed me with so warmly, to work with the board and with all of you to create a really thriving and exciting future for this organization. So one of the things that I love film festivals, I love cinema, and one of the things that festivals do best is to champion films and filmmakers. Today we're going to be hearing about those films that we'll be seeing at the festival, about the incredible lineup that the team here has put together throughout the year. And I am super excited to welcome our Director of Programming to share those films with you this morning. Can you please welcome Heather Haynes?
Thanks, Diana. Before we speak about the films that define this year's festival, we'd like to pause and address the alarming event that deeply shook many of us in the documentary community. Yesterday, Hamdan Bilal, co-director of the Oscar-winning documentary No Other Land, was violently attacked and arrested in his home in Masafer Yatta. These acts lay bare the growing dangers faced by courageous journalists, filmmakers, and ordinary citizens who risk their lives to share their vital stories. We are united in hope for Hamdan's safe return to his loved ones. And now, I am pleased to present the lineup for our 2025 films. Selected from 2,662 submissions, Hot Docs 2025 will showcase 113 outstanding documentaries representing 47 different countries and featuring 49 world and international premieres. Today, we are thrilled to unveil a rich diversity of exceptional films alongside special events, new programming strands, and other exciting news. As we are facing a climate where rights and identities are increasingly under attack south of the Canadian border, it's more important than ever to spotlight the struggles, the victories, and the ongoing fight for equality right here at home, and also to celebrate the powerful spirit of love and resistance that activists and communities strive for to preserve human rights. I am deeply honored to announce this year's opening night film, the world premiere of Parade, Queer Acts of Love and Resistance, directed by Noam Gonick and produced by Justine Pimlott. This powerful film explores the pivotal moments and courageous actions that sparked Canada's 2S LGBTQ+ movement and the journey of activists who fought for equality and visibility. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Take this thing on homosexuality. I think the view we take here is that there's no place for the state in the bedrooms of the nation.
I think for those of us who grew up in the 50s and 60s, it's hard to communicate what it was like to begin to suspect that you might be part of this category of subhumans that was really the most shameful, disgusting kind of thing that anybody could possibly be.
We were invisible. The straight world wanted us to be invisible.
Being gay was an abomination, it was a sin, it was a form of spiritual corruption.
We paraded in secret. And then we were paraded through prison corridors and the courts.
Homosexuality was essentially illegal.
You could get 8 years in prison or a mental institution.
We have crucial moments where the state would attack us. We were forced to respond. There was no choice.
As young activists, we had a vision. We wanted a world that was free of homophobia.
It's just a really beautiful thing to think about the idea of all of the people who have stepped off of the sidewalk and into the road. This is that genealogy of resistance.
Director Noam Gonick is an artist and filmmaker with an interest in social activism, sexuality, and connections across divides. Uprisings, dance, and protests occur in his work across a wide range of media. His work has screened at the Venice Film Festival, Sundance, and TIFF, and has won several awards, including here at Hot Docs. Producer Justine Pimlott is a multi-award-winning producer with over 25 years of experience in the film industry, bringing marginalized stories to the screen. In 2003, she co-founded Red Queen Productions with partner and filmmaker Maya Gallus, with a focus on films that challenge gender norms and explore LGBTQ+ lives. Justine has spent the last decade at the NFB Ontario studio, producing a powerful body of work, including, most recently, festival favorites Any Other Way, The Jackie Shane Story, and A Mother Apart. Please help me welcome the producer of Parade, Queer Acts of Love and Resistance, Justine Pimlott.
Oh, wow. I promised myself I would not cry. And I'm going to just take a breath. When Heather Haynes and programmer Alex Rogalski called me with the news that Parade, Queer Acts of Love and Resistance would be the opening night film, I was overcome with tears of joy. I was joyous because this is such a wonderful and meaningful acknowledgement. When you grow up as a young queer person, as I and many others have, one of the most important experiences we can have is to be seen, to be heard, and to be supported. It's about the acknowledgement of our shared humanity and the ways in which we are all profoundly connected. By choosing Parade to open the festival, the team at Hot Docs has done all of this and more. You see us, you hear us, and you support us. And in these difficult times, this acknowledgement takes on an even more importance. So on behalf of Director Noam Gonick, who sadly couldn't be here with us today, myself, the production team, and the entire team at the National Film Board of Canada, thank you. Thank you. When we started making our film several years ago, we knew that we wanted to look at the extraordinary early acts of resistance that sparked the rise of the 2S LGBTQI+ movement in Canada. We wanted to share this history so we all know whose shoulders we stand on. What we didn't realize was that by the time that we were finishing our film, the attacks on us would be on the rise, and in particular towards our beloved trans brothers and sisters. Which makes the message of our film even more urgent. Our fight, our resistance, sadly, is not over. There is still much work to be done. My hope is that our film serves as an inspiration and a call to action, not only for the queer community, but also for our allies. Thank you.
Thank you, Justine. This is the 12th anniversary of our Big Ideas program, and it continues a Hot Docs tradition of engaging the sharpest minds on the most provocative of subjects, with special guests present for each film. The lineup for Big Ideas this year includes director Maxim Duravenko's Ai Weiwei's Turandot, which explores the complexities of Ai Weiwei's politically visionary art in the current global landscape, and his powerful vision behind the reimagining of Puccini's Turandot. Director James Jones is joined by Antidote protagonist, investigative journalist Christo Grozev of Bellingcat, in a gripping conversation about his groundbreaking work exposing a Russian government assassination squad targeting opposition figures. In Marlee Matlin, Not Alone Anymore, meet director Shoshana Stern and the legendary actress Marlee Matlin for an engaging post-screening conversation about Marlee's rise to stardom, the challenges she faced, and her advocacy for the deaf community and women's rights. Join the Dating Games director, Violet Dufeng, for a post-screening conversation to dive into the complex and often challenging world of dating in modern-day China. And now please help me welcome to the stage Hot Docs Director of Philanthropy and Impact, Jackie Garrow.
Thank you, Heather. This year, we're delighted to continue the tradition of presenting many impactful awards to filmmakers, including the Rogers Audience Award for Best Canadian Documentary. The highest-rated Canadian feature film, as determined by audience votes, will be awarded a prestigious $50,000 cash prize generously provided by our founding partner, Rogers. Woo! The winning film will be announced at a special free encore screening here at the Hot Docs Ted Rogers Cinema on the festival's closing night. Hot Docs remains steadfast in our commitment to ensuring that our programming is reachable to as diverse an audience as possible. We are proud to continue offering free daytime screenings for students and for patrons 60 years of age and over, as well as free tickets to newcomers and others through our audience development partnerships. The Catherine and Maxwell Meehan Foundation fund our accessible in-cinema screenings featuring open and closed captioning, audio description, and ASL interpretation, and we are grateful for their continued help. Above all, a huge thank you to our major partners for their unwavering support of this year's festival. Thank you to our founding partner, Rogers, to our presenting partner, Netflix, and to our major supporters, Telefilm Canada, the Government of Ontario, and the Canada Media Fund. In addition, we are grateful for the assistance of the Toronto Arts Council, the City of Toronto, the Ontario Arts Council, Ontario Creates, and Canada Council for the Arts. Lastly, I'd like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the many family foundations, individuals, small companies, and industry partners, too many to name here, who have stood by our side and offered their support to make this year's festival a reality. Thank you all very, very much. And now to learn more about this year's riveting program, please welcome back Hot Docs Program Director Heather Haynes and Senior International Programmer Gabor Pertik.
Documentary filmmakers continue to expose the raw, often uncomfortable truths of our world, shedding light on the political, social, and environmental forces impacting our lives. This year's lineup offers a bold selection of films confronting issues that are urgent, thought-provoking, essential to our understanding the power structures and injustices that are defining our lives. Here are some of the highlights in our special presentations program. Mixing the personal with the political, comedian Noam Schuster boldly confronts the Israel-Palestine conflict in her one-woman show, Coexistence My Ass. A deaf and hard-of-hearing student body pushes back, sparking a revolution that influenced the future of disability rights in Deaf President Now. Spoken word artist and poet laureate Andrea Gibson, alongside their partner and fellow poet, Megan Faley, take on a journey filled with humor and love that culminates in a final career-defining performance in Come See Me in the Good Light. ACLU attorney Chase Strangio fights a legal battle against the assaults of transgender rights sweeping across the United States in heightened scrutiny. Interdisciplinary artist Rashad Newsom transforms a historic military facility into a queer Afro-futurist utopia in assembly. Oscar-nominated filmmaker Petra Costa explores Brazil's religious fundamentalism and its close ties to the far-right nationalist movement in Apocalypse in the Tropics. A celebration of music comes to life as we explore the legendary impact of Selena Quintanilla in Selena y los Dinos. Director Julieta Singh returns to her childhood home, where centuries of forgotten matriarchs emerge to reveal stories of resistance and resilience in the nest. And the defining champions of the Skidegate Saints battle to keep their basketball title in Saints and Warriors.
International Spectrum is our Oscar-accredited competition program featuring world and international premieres of exceptional documentaries included in this selection. The rise of anti-immigrant sentiment fueled by Venezuela's collapse and the resulting influx of migrants into Chile results in violent clashes in Unwelcomed. A son battles against corrupt officials in India's ongoing farmer struggle in I, Poppy. Follow a filmmaker's journey of self-discovery tracing Colombia's painful history and her search for answers surrounding her activist father's disappearance in I Dreamed His Name. Two siblings navigate the delicate balance of caring for aging parents while also pursuing lives true to themselves in Heritage. Two young sisters live out their whimsical childhood against an increasingly complicated world in King Matt the First. World Showcase is our global survey of compelling stories from around the world. Included are these world premieres. A look at China's tumultuous last century through the love story of an elderly couple in The Gardener and the Dictator. A Palestinian grain miller preserves her culture through the sharing of food in Aisha's Story. A courageous whistleblower takes on Liberian dictator Charles Taylor, risking everything in Betrayal. In northern India, an all-woman police unit tackles troubled marriages with unexpected wisdom, humor, and authority in Marriage Cops. And against the perils of a vast and unforgiving desert, a Mexican-American couple tirelessly conducts a search and rescue mission on the U.S.-Mexico border for missing migrants in Spare My Bones Coyote. Other highlights include filmmaker Ali Asghari's defiance of Iran's travel ban as he chronicles his confinement in Tehran after authorities raid his home and seize his work in higher than acidic clouds. Love is tested when the director and his boyfriend clash over opposing political views in My Boyfriend the Fascist. Using their camera as their weapon, three women of the Daje Kapap Epi audiovisual collective defend their Brazilian ancestral land in Mundurukuyu, the forest of the fish women. And the first elected councilwoman of her Iranian village battle against patriarchal traditions by halting child marriages and training young women to ride motorcycles in Cutting Through Rocks.
At a time where women's rights are questioned and eroded, women will rise up and be heard in our ever-popular Persister program. A few selections from this year's program include a widow in Kenya rises to advocate for women's rights to property in Widow Champion. A mother risks all to pursue her dreams to become a comedian in Mama Goals. A South Korean filmmaker uncovers generations of patriarchal damage inflicted on women who are expected to live as good daughters in My Missing Aunt. And after a breast cancer diagnosis, the director dives into a soul-healing journey in Mama. Facing a world that is increasingly spiraling into conflict, documentaries are created by filmmakers and participants who, driven from their homelands by war, conflict, or humanitarian crisis, continue to tell stories and let their stories be heard. This year, we are honored to spotlight their work in our Made in Exile program, supported by PEN Canada. This program features Sudanese filmmakers reenact dramatic testimonies of their nation's descent into civil war in Khartoum. In the highly acclaimed film Writing Hawa, the director witnesses mother's liberation from the constraints of a 40-year arranged marriage just before the Taliban's return to power. Palestinian identity, homeland, and belonging are explored between the director and a young parkour athlete in Gaza in Yalla Parkour. And Gen Z Ukrainians confront the impacts of war imagery on social media in The Longer You Bleed. This year, our theme program, Tipping Point, focuses on the films that reveal the tensions and powerful forces shaping global unrest and change. A teacher risks everything to expose Putin's propaganda machine and the militarization of schools in Mr. Nobody Against Putin. When a 23-year-old Black father is shot and killed by Montreal police, his family fights for injustice in Night Watches Us. The strange art of war diplomacy is revealed as NATO's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg struggles to stand by President Zelensky and Ukraine in facing war. A haunting look at America's Christian fundamentalist campaign to control the educational curriculum in an American pastoral, and a family's role in Dominican Republic's authoritarian regime comes to light in Colossal.
Creative minds, artistic pursuits, and inventive filmmaking abound in this year's Artscapes program. In addition to Ai Weiwei's Turnadat, this year's program features the trans-fronted Muslim punk band Shh Dayam, our cult whose calls for queer rights puts its members at a risk of state prosecution in Queer as Punk. Spanish guitarist Yare Cortez uses his talent to heal his Romani family and community through the spiritual power of music, flamenco guitar of Yare Cortez. And a group of fearless theater artists confront Haiti's turbulent past in At All Costs. And for all you creatures of the night, our provocative night vision program never disappoints. This year featuring UFO enthusiasts embark on a quest for meaning in They're Here. On Reunion Island, dive into the world of magical insurance policies offered through witchcraft and religion. In Guarantee 100% Carol, soccer's ultras ignite the stadiums, transforming them into electrifying spectacles in ultras.
I also want to take a moment to recognize the incredible programming team whose tireless efforts have truly shaped this year's festival. Their unwavering dedication, brilliant insights, and collaborative spirit are nothing short of inspiring. It's through their hard work and passion that Hot Docs continues to thrive and create experiences that resonate deeply with our audiences. Their commitment is the heartbeat of this festival, and they are Senior International Programmers Gabor Pertik and Lucila Moctezuma, International Programmers Kinga Binkowska, Julian Carrington, Lauren Clark, Gugi Gumalang, Vicky Ho, and David Knight, Associate International Programmers Elsbeth Arbo and Simone Estrin, the dynamic and dynamite Canadian team, Senior Canadian Programmer Alex Rogalski, Aisha Jamal, and Miriam Zaidi, who is also the Senior Shorts Programmer. Joining Miriam on the Shorts Programming team is also Hawa Isuman and Reza Sameni. And of course, Vivian Bilek, who is the mid-length programmer this year. And I want to give a very special thanks and acknowledge the two women who have worked incredibly hard to bring this all together. Sadia Ali, who is the Programming Administrative Coordinator, and Kristen Boivin, who is the Senior Programming Manager. And now please help me welcome Kristen to the stage to speak about our Canadian program.
Thank you, Heather and Gabor. From over 400 Canadian submissions, we're pleased to present 26 features and 13 shorts at this year's festival that display the talents and passions of our own outstanding Canadian filmmakers. Now, our Canadian Spectrum competition program. This year, we're proud to showcase 10 feature documentaries that reflect the diverse perspectives and powerful storytelling of our talented filmmakers from across the nation. The Canadian Spectrum competition is presented in partnership with TVO Docs, and we would like to thank them for their generous support. World premieres in the Canadian Spectrum competition include an online vigilante self-described as the Creeper Hunter is exposed in Shamed. A luminous portrait of strength and vulnerability of the Siksika men and boys comes alive in Siksikakoan, the Blackfoot Man. A lyrical mediation on the themes of loss and hope is told through 3 generations amidst a countrywide economic crisis in Venezuela in Casas Vueltas. The story behind an iconic meme that some see as a rallying cry for Indigenous people's empowerment, others experience as a grim reminder of the realities Indigenous people face in #Skoden. Also in competition are, on the Gulf of Mexico, spectators gather and environmentalists assess the damage as SpaceX rockets blast into space in shifting baselines. A search into family history reveals a haunting tale of a seafaring family, their dark past emerging in Ghosts of the Sea. 3 Muslim teenagers in post-war Bosnia chase their Olympic dreams in The Track. Dive into a psychedelic animated journey about 2 half-brothers, one Indigenous, one white, in Endless Cookie. A man finds comfort in performing domestic chores for dominant women in Paul, and discovers simple seasonal living through the life of a fiercely independent Mennonite woman in the cinematic gem Agatha's Almanac. We are also thrilled to announce 4 shorts programs that feature both Canadian and international shorts. Heal and Release highlights stories of individual and collective healing while giving us permission to honor the past, celebrate our growth, and learn to let go. Learning to Fly features a collection of films that explore how we build, break, and renew bonds with the people and passions in our lives. These films reflect on the power of community and the exhilaration of finding our purpose and our people. This year's Persister program, or Shorts program, showcases films that are ingeniously crafted by and about women who are unafraid to defy expectations, prioritize their needs, and are unapologetic in their pursuit of self-fulfillment, healing, and justice. Through the Cracks is a collection of shorts that explores where we find the strength to push through in the darkest of times and in moments when our independence, our communities, and our most cherished environments are under threat. Through these stories, we find both unimaginable courage and stubborn hope. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our shorts filmmakers who are here today. Servia Poblete and Kate Vollum of King's Court, Martin Edralin, director of La Mayordomia, and Mingjia Zhou and Yichen Zhang of View from Home. Now let's take, please. And a round of applause for everyone who has a film in the festival this year. Let's take a look at a selection of trailers from this year's lineup.
Well, you know, when you win all the time, it can happen. It's tough being the best. I just don't know how much longer we can sustain something like that.
Today, we're creating a new story in our history here.
Basketball culture is the culture. It's allowed us to survive and be who we are today.
You and I were born at sea, on the ship our father built. We have no other roots. J'appelle au sujet de mon frère, Thomas Steinwald.
Mon frère est parti à bord d'un bateau sans moteur, sans radio, sans radeau de secours et sans balise de dépôt.
10 years ago, you disappeared at sea. Neither your body nor your boat have ever been found. Toi, qu'est-ce que tu penses qui est arrivé à Thomas?
C'est quand même étonnant, pour un marin confirmé, de partir dans des conditions comme ça, quoi.
J'ai l'impression qu'il perpétue une espèce de malédiction. Ça commence avec son père, avec sa mère. Lui, quand est-ce que ça va s'arrêter?
Your mother was the first to die. The rest of the family followed one by one.
On ne pouvait pas s'empêcher de se poser des questions.
C'est impossible pour un navigateur de perdre 2 fois une personne.
Mais lui, il est plein de morts.
Il y a un moment où il faut qu'on sache la vérité. Même si la vérité est violente, elle est toujours mieux que le non-dit.
Peter Tangvald of Norway sailed his 45-foot vessel Windflower today.
I only got to know our father through the pieces of the story he left behind. He was bigger than life, a kind of living legend. His story became darker and darker. You were looking for a father when you disappeared. Where are you now, Thomas?
Things that was unbelievable in the past just become normal. You can be oversensitive to everything or like completely numb. You don't know how to react normally because like normality is something like from past life.
We were eating her fancy cake while our neighbors were dying in the next house. But we still enjoyed the cake.
We enjoyed the cake because what else you can do?
People died and like 4 kids. I was start crying. I cannot stop. But now when I see, I'm just like scrolling it, and that's all. It's like, oh, next. I'm feeling that like I'm a bit dead inside. I don't know. Is it like I'm not so sensitive anymore? You know.
If you're interested what is inside body, you could discover it in many ways. Watching the footage from the war in Ukraine, everything you could even imagine, you could see. Unfortunately.
Our intention to spread awareness and actually help, it might work opposite when it becomes like normal and people just don't pay attention on this anymore. It should be something more shocking, more provoking. Atomic bomb probably, or something extremely violent. But it will be in use for a certain amount of time, and after that, it's just history.
It is the most genuine response to the stress. Like if you make fun of it, you like trying to laugh about it, it becomes easier to cope.
I'm just watching through my iPhone. I have iPhone. I have a lot of fancy scenes which don't matter to me anymore. Which just doesn't matter where you are. You wake up, you reach in your phone, you look some horror pictures, you look at some fun pictures. People keep living their lives. It's just become like one horrific routine.
I'm not interested in opera at all. Normally, I don't listen to music. My Turandot is going to be different.
This is our director, Ai Weiwei.
He's been called the most powerful figure in contemporary art.
I know Ai Weiwei as a free speech magnet.
is a freedom fighter.
This is a perfect story about China.
China is not a free country.
Poche ore fa il governo ha definito delle regole alle quali ovviamente noi non possiamo non sottostare, quindi dobbiamo chiudere il teatro fino alla fine di marzo. E non si possono fare più le prove.
Always say the work is like my home. So it's like suddenly you build the home, it collapsed. Why we have to do a Turandot? You know, what is my interpretation of the show?
No one has ever done a Turandot that's about the world today as it is, so directly. Every detail, every costume, every prop has been designed new. Nothing is the way it ever usually looks.
Oh, every Turandot, of course, relate to his work and his life. The concept of his artwork is definitely related to Turandot.
I think art compete with reality, and art will give the last words.
That song always just gets me. It's so emotional. And now to share details about the Hot Docs 25 Industry Conference and Market, please join me in welcoming to the stage Hot Docs Director of Industry Programs, Elizabeth Radshaw.
Wonderful. It's so exciting to see all those films and to be able to share them with all you. And I'm here to tell you about how we help these films get made. So Hot Docs Industry supports the entire documentary landscape, filmmakers, industry players, and audiences alike. And our work is the cornerstone of international documentary film finance. In this moment, when the world needs documentaries, our work is more vital than ever. So last year, we celebrated a quarter century of the Hot Docs Forum, our marquee pitching event, alongside the Dealmaker. And to this date, the Forum and Dealmaker have raised over $160 million for independent documentaries. We're so proud of the impact and legacy of the Forum, and our alumni have gone on to achieve Academy nods and festival accolades, but most importantly, they've transformed audiences around the world. Emma Ryan Yamazaki is the editor and producer of the 2025 Academy-nominated Black Box Diaries. It also played here at Hot Docs last year. And in the same year, she was the director and producer of also Academy-nominated Making of a Japanese. Both are alumni of the Hot Docs Forum and Dealmaker, and she wanted to send a few words.
Hot Docs really was a place where I learned what it meant to be part of a documentary community. A lot of people I met there throughout the years have become close friends, colleagues. All three of my feature documentaries that I've made thus far went through either the Hot Docs Dealmaker program or the Hot Docs Forum. And without participating in those programs and meeting the people I did, I don't think those films would have been completed. So I'm really grateful for the community that Hot Docs has built, and I love attending.
So it's this documentary marketplace and creative space that we host here, but it's not static within our larger ecosystem. Despite all these successes, we put our beloved forum on pause to assess, to redesign, and reinvent the film financing form of our future. Hot Docs Industry is committed to celebrating the cultural currency of documentary while deepening the market value for our work within our industry. And so, in this year, we focus on our Works in Progress program, which will feature 10 Canadian and international films with a longer pitch presentations of their work. Thank you to Netflix, who generously supported the second edition of the Canadian Storytellers Project, the Hot Docs Incubator, whose projects are showcased in Works in Progress. Our First Look group, who've awarded over $445,000 to films at the Forum in its prizes over the past 9 years, they've pivoted their prize this year to award it to one of the Works in Progress presentations. So we're so grateful for them to keeping the love of docs shining. At our conference, we offer insights and solutions to tackle the industry challenges and to carve out new avenues ahead. And we're featuring conversations on craft, on funding, on distribution, the use of AI in film, and new platforms and markets. Our focus is to future-proof our sector and to empower filmmakers with knowledge and a network in which industry players can get their films made. There's 14 Hot Docs industry alumni selected at this year's festival. And in the funds that we distribute throughout the year, we're awarding a total of $420,000 to over 18 projects through our Music Doc Fund, our Canadian Incubator Project, as well as our Blue Ice Fund. It's a special mention to our Hot Docs Blue Ice Group Fund. It's on the eve of its 15th year of funding and providing professional development to African filmmakers living and working on the continent. We applaud the many successes of our film fund and program alumni at this year's festival. Also, thank you to our industry conference presenting partners Canadian Media Fund and with the support of our industry conference founding sponsor Telefilm Canada, and additionally the support from Ontario Creates and the City of Toronto. Now, we're very excited to tell you about the work of Hot Docs Productions. We're story collaborators for brands, foundations, and government to produce a series of short film compilations. And we're very excited to celebrate the 3rd season of Citizen Minutes, which will premiere at this year's festival. Citizen Minutes is a project that's made possible with the support of the Rossi Foundation. Citizen Minutes tells stories of ordinary Canadian folks doing extraordinary things to make their communities better. It's civic engagement all across Canada. So this 3rd edition follows the success of the Citizen Minutes Series 1 and 2, which came out in 2021 and 23, which include 15 short docs that have gone on to screen independently and win awards at almost 100 Canadian and international film festivals. As well, they're streaming on Crave and CBC Gem. Let's take a look here.
In order to change our perspectives about the way that we see things, there needs to be something that disrupts that perspective and moves us into a new understanding. It all begins with education and storytelling.
I am a gay person, a non-binary person, and then also now I'm a drag queen. All these things that are completely opposite of what society tells you to do.
On peut être toutes différentes grandeurs, couleurs, présentations, on est toutes nous-mêmes, puis on est toutes ensemble dans ce monde.
Il faut regarder les visages humains.
Having people understand who we are, to include and not exclude.
Our democracy is not just about diversity of identities and people, but diversity of opinion.
We want to show our political leaders that, hey, if we can do this at the grassroots level, you guys can do it too.
We can no longer live in disbelief and complacency.
I'm on a mission to help shift our perspective. Our biggest work is still ahead of us.
You're helping to create change and be a change maker.
We're identifying how we can take action as fellow citizens to create hope for our country.
And so now you know the truth. And what are you going to do with it? Change the world! One more time, super loud. What are you going to do with it? Change the world!
Mais le travail ne finit pas ici. Il commence.
Across our industry programs, our portfolio of funds and labs, professional development and market activities, as well as the Hot Docs Productions, they all enact on the organization's direct mission, which is to advance and celebrate the art of documentary and create production opportunities for documentary filmmakers. And now, to wrap up our 2025 conference, please welcome back Hot Docs Director of Philanthropy and Impact, Jackie Garrow.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Big fan of the Citizen Minutes Project. Excellent work.
So we're almost done. So as you can see, this year's festival promises the same level of excellence you've come to expect from Hot Docs. A captivating lineup of the finest documentaries from around the world, showcasing crucial stories, immersive narratives, and exciting new voices. As many of you now know, the past 4 years have been a difficult period for the Canadian cultural sector at large, and Hot Docs has not been immune to these stressors. As a writer for the Globe and Mail aptly put it, it's been a make or break year for arts and cultural organizations across the country. We are very proud of the work done recently at Hot Docs to stabilize and to make it to today. And while the road ahead is steep and will be bumpy at times, we're pressing forward with confidence, steadfast in our belief that documentaries play a critical role in building community and strengthening society. Hot Docs brings us together. It brings us together to shine a light on our common humanity. It brings us together to inspire us to tackle the issues of our time. And it brings us together to break down barriers between us and them. Now, more than ever, we need vital cultural institutions like Hot Docs. The world needs Hot Docs. Canada needs Hot Docs. We all need Hot Docs. I invite you to stand by us, and if you are able, I urge you to step up and support Hot Docs in whatever way possible. By joining us at this year's festival, by bringing a friend to a screening, by spreading the word on social media, or by making a donation in our upcoming Friends of Hot Docs Giving Appeal, which kicks off again on Sunday. With your support, we'll continue to bring these outstanding and outspoken documentary films to our beloved audiences while championing filmmakers and expanding accessibility to our programs. Together, we have the power to future-proof and secure the enduring success of Hot Docs. And now, here's to a meaningful, a powerful, and a fantastic Hot Docs Festival 2025. And for some closing notes to this morning's press conference, please welcome Hot Docs Senior Media Relations Manager, Juan Gonzalez Calcaño.
Thanks, Jackie. Thank you all for coming. This brings the morning's press conference to an end. The full schedule is now live at hotdocs.ca, and tickets are available for Hot Docs members and festival ticket package holders. Single tickets will be available to the public starting April 1st. Tickets may be obtained online or right here at Hot Docs Ted Rogers Cinema. If you're a filmmaker or a publicist participating in the media interview portion of this morning's conference, we ask that you remain seated while we position cameras upstairs in the mezzanine. Our media team will facilitate your participation. If you're not, we would like to thank you again for coming and have a great day.